Hi everyone, my name is Audrey O'Connor and welcome to today's session, Connect with Your Core for Iconic Offices. In this class, we're not only going to just connect with our core, we're also going to learn how to activate and fire up those abdominal muscles. We're going to learn how to stabilise and also find our breath. The only equipment you'll need for today's session is either a cushion or a block, so whenever you're ready, I'll see you on the mat. Welcome to today's Connect with Your Core session. As I said earlier, you'll need a cushion or a block for today's class. The class is going to bring you through a series of core exercises to activate, strengthen and lengthen your core, and also to help you efficiently breathe through your core. Personally, I love to sit on my block before I start and work on a little bit of breath work. So if you have your block or cushion, I really advise you to sit on it, and it'll also help keep your posture in a nice upright position. So from here, again, if you don't like to sit with your legs crossed, you can go into mermaid, or you can sit against the wall with your legs bent slightly. Otherwise, sit in this position and find your breath. From here, take your right hand onto your heart and take your left hand onto your stomach. And I just want you to bring yourself into this space. So whether you're working from home and you've just left your desk, or maybe it's first thing in the morning and you're just out of bed and you said, I'm going to give myself 40 minutes to work on my core practice. Or else maybe it's in the evening and you're about to go to bed and this is the last bit of movement you're going to do before you go to bed this evening. Bring yourself into your seat. Make sure that your tailbone is connected to the floor. And just begin to notice your breath. Feel the breath travel into your body and feel the breath travel out of your body. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you breathe in through your nose, let the breath travel into your rib cage, into your lungs, and let it travel out of your mouth. Let the breath travel into your ribs, the front ribs, the side ribs, the back ribs. And exhale. For the next few breaths, I just want you to feel what it's like to breathe into the ribs and feel those intercostal muscles in between each rib spread out and open. Pause and release so you can create more space. Notice the effect of breathing into the back of the lungs and how that affects the shoulders, how they rise slightly and then they soften as you exhale. Can you bring a pause into the space between the inhalation and the exhalation? And then release the breath. Can you breathe all the way into your gut, into your pelvis? Pause and exhale. Breathing in deeply all the way down to the stomach, to the pelvic floor, to your core, and then let the breath travel out. Let the breath travel into all those muscles that surround the spine, your powerhouse. And release the breath. Breathe into these supportive muscles and find length through them as you exhale. And then from here, increase your breath to a 6-second inhalation. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. And exhale for a 6-second exhalation. 3, 2, 1, breathe in deeply in through the nose, all the way down into your core, into your pelvis. 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. And let the breath travel out of that space. 3, 2, 1, 6 more times, breathing in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. And exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, creating space, expanding. Pausing, exhaling, releasing the breath. 6 seconds is too long, 4 is fine. Exhale. Always feel the breath travel down. As the diaphragm lifts, the breath travels down. As you pause, you exhale, the diaphragm drops down, the exhalation lifts up. 3 more breaths. Two more breaths. And 1 more breath. Brilliant. Now think about when we inhale, we find expansion in space. So often we'll lengthen and open the chest on the inhalation. So let's bring that into seated now. Lengthen your hands together, interlock your fingertips and press your hands away from you up towards the ceiling and find length. Inhale and then exhale. Find the roundness through the shoulders as you press the shoulders wide and apart. Breathe out. And then inhale, lengthen and open. Open the chest, open the heart. And then round. Keep the ears by the biceps as much as you can. And then inhale to open. And round. Keep the torso in this position, but notice what the abdominals are doing. Keep the belly button pointing forward. And as you close your eyes and get into this kind of breath pattern, maybe you could point the palms towards you as you round. Press the palms away as you inhale. And each time you breathe and inhale, you'll get a bit more space into those lungs, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And then round. Let's go for 5 more. When we breathe into our lungs only, we often do this because our body's feeling a little bit tight, a little bit restricted. You know, if we're at our desk for a long time, our back begins to round and kind of crowd the chest. But also if you're a little bit anxious, we'll only breathe into the lungs. Let's get the breath traveling all the way into our abs, into our stomach. Inhale, exhale. Let's go for 4. For 3. For 2. And on 1, bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Can you let your left rib press away from you and reach those arms by your ears? Now, can you laterally flex, round your back, come through to center, and then laterally flex, extend, laterally flex, round, and repeat. If you open the eyes, find length in the spine, and then round, really feel into those areas that are tight in the body. Like I find when I round my back, it's easy to do that flexion, but when I open into extension, it's so much harder. Reverse your direction for 4. If I was sitting at my desk for ages, I would definitely do this a few times a day. Good. It stops that feeling of being stuck in your body, you know. For 2. Open. And on 1 and release. Okay, we're going to go straight into core work right now. So from here, bring yourself down onto your mat, lie down and let your head, neck and shoulders release onto the floor. The funny thing about core work is people just think your core is your stomach and your abs, and there's so much more to it. Your core is all the muscles that surround and support your spine. I always include glutes into core work, adductors, your inner thighs and groin, and a lot of upper body muscles as well that surround the ribs and shoulders. So from here, take your thumbs to the spaces below the ribs. So below your ribs, your thumbs sit here. And then your baby finger goes to your ASIS joint. See that joint here? There's 2 little bony joints here at the front of your hips. Take your baby fingers to the top of those joints and then your thumb is below your ribs. And notice now that if you lie down on the mat, how you can gently bring your lower back to the floor. Your knees are grounded, your knees are and feet are hip distance apart. So what I mean by that is bring your heels together, your toes apart. Yeah. And then bring your heels in line with your feet. Good work. So your feet are in line now with the knees, toes are in line with the heels, and your fingers are in this position. Now, once you've all these things sorted, you're ready to go. Take a deep breath into your heart and lungs and into your stomach. And exhale out of these spaces. And feel like when you inhale, your fingertips almost separate away from each other, as if you're blowing up a balloon. And then as you exhale, feel the fingertips almost draw in towards one another. Inhale, expand. And exhale, release. So feel when you expand, the fingertips separate. The abs lift, the stomach expands with air and fills up. And then as you exhale, those fingertips come close together and they almost knit together. So the space between the pelvis and the ribs knits together. The ribs and pelvis expand and they knit together on the exhalation. So think inhalation, expansion and space. The lower back is drawing towards the floor on the exhalation as everything draws inwards. When you breathe in the next time, breathe in, expand, fill the lungs and the stomach up with air. Knit the fingers together as you exhale and press the belly button towards the spine. Inhale, expand. Exhale, draw the belly button towards the spine. Feeling that you're almost drawing the breath inwards and upwards from the spaces behind your navel. It's a lot easier to say things like push your lower back into the floor, but it's not enough. You need to engage those muscles by using your breath. Now think of the spaces between your pubic bone. Feel like you're breathing up out of there when you exhale, and that place is flattening towards the floor as you exhale. So I let my breath travel down to my pubic area, the area that I would use if I was going to the toilet, and then I breathe out of that space. Your pelvic floor and your core are massively connected. One doesn't work without the other, so engage your pelvic floor muscles, and I always find a really good way of doing that is by engaging that space around the pubic area. Now take your hands to the sides of your waistline. Good. Inhale deeply. And when you exhale, feel like your hands are coming inwards and buckling a belt. Inhale, expand. And feel those areas, the obliques drawing in. The obliques are the muscles that surround the core on each side. They're like your core set muscles. 2 more. And on 1 more. Now let's bring it all together. If you have a block handy or you have a cushion handy, bring it in between your knees. Place your fingertips where they were in the original position, baby fingers above your ASIS joint, your thumbs below your ribs. Take a deep breath in, inhale, and exhale. Knit those fingers together as you squeeze that block. Inhale, expand. Exhale, squeeze that block. Now, I want you to squeeze the block with the inner thighs as you exhale. Inhale, exhale, squeeze the block with the inner thighs. Now, squeeze the block with your pubic bone. Good. And if you don't know where your pubic bone is, have a good Google for it. I won't be showing you where my one is, but imagine where it is. Good. Inhale and exhale, squeeze. As if you were trying to stop yourself from going to the toilet, but you're almost trying to stop yourself from going to the toilet from the space behind that area. Good. A very gentle squeeze. Good. It's almost like a lift inwards and upwards as you flatten the lower back to the floor. Good. As you go for 4, exhale deeply. Exhale inwards and upwards and out of your body. For 2 more. And on 1 more. And already I can notice that space between my lower back and the floor is already connected a lot more. Now take your hands behind your head. Interlock your fingertips. Take a deep breath in. Drive your heels into the ground. Exhale, curl up. Soften your jawline. Squeeze your block. Inhale down. Exhale, squeeze. Often people I'll see use a rolled up towel. They'll use a soft back book. Exhale, squeeze. As you go for 8. Squeeze and flatten. 7. Feel like your stomach is flattening towards the floor. 6. Enjoy this moment of serenity as we get everything in place before we go on to really the heavy stuff. As you go for 5. 4 more. 3 more. Good. 2. Nice. And on 1. Curl up. Now, could you bring your shoulder blades off the mat a little bit more? Could you send your elbows a little bit more like in a hammock shape around? Good. Could you draw your middle finger or index finger and baby finger and thumb to the ribs really and slide those ribs down? Could you draw your belly button towards the spine a little bit more? Good. Now from here, take 10 breaths. Inhaling, exhale, squeeze. Inhaling, exhale, squeeze that block for 10. Now my abs are kicking in. 8. Press your big toe into the ground. 7. 6. 5. 4. Good. 3. 2, 1. Take the right hand out. We've done this exercise before in one of my intermediate classes. I want you to reach the right hand out nice and wide. Have your thumb pointing up to have a bit of tension in the arm. Take your right shoulder blade off the mat. Bring it across your body to the outside of the left knee. Bring it back to center. Exhale, lift that right shoulder blade off the mat. The shoulder is almost navigating that arm to come up and around. Good. It's the shoulder leading the movement. Then my left oblique kicks in as you go. You're like, Audrey, my left oblique kicked in a while ago. As you go for 5. Good. And 4. And 3. And 2. Good. And on 1. Take the right hand up and take it all the way across. Now I want you to reach with your right hand, reaching across the left thigh. But think about your left shoulder doing the movement. As you go for 8, 7, 6, core engaged. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay here. Let your left elbow really reach up towards that right hand and just squeeze that block for 10. Now I'm feeling that inner thighs are really switching on. That area behind the navel is switching on for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and give yourself a breather. Nice. So a lot of the time when you're working with core work, stability, being grounded, with those feet pressing down to the floor, the tailbone heavy, those movements are stabilizing you and the breath. Take your left hand wide. Exhale, lift up and go across your body. Inhaling. And exhale, lift and across. Let's go for 8. Exhale, lift and across. 7. Exhale deeply as you lift. 6. 5. Good. 4. You still with me? 3, 2, and on 1 now. My shoulder is lifting up and over, and I pulse. 8, 7, 6. My right shoulder is trying to lift off the floor, which is a good thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I squeeze that block as I reach for 8, 7, 6. My head is resting in my hands for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now if that's enough for you, stay here with the feet down. You're in a closed chain. Otherwise, work with an open chain. Take your arms up overhead. Take your left leg into tabletop. Feel the head of your femur, thigh bone inside in that hip socket. Heavy with your tailbone, reach your right leg into tabletop. If your lower back can gently stay grounded on the floor while you're doing this, you're winning. If not, bring your feet back down. Take the block in between your knees. This is pelvic stability. Hold on to that block for dear life. Bring your hands behind your head. Interlock your fingertips and lift your head, neck and shoulders up. Good. Slide those ribs down. Now can you just bring your knees in 2 inches and out 2 inches? In 2 inches and out 2 inches. So really feel like the ball, that ball and socket joint is rolling out and in. Yes, let's go. If it was really fast or really long, it'd be a lot easier, but it's a lot harder when you do it like this. Let's go for 6 and 5 and 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your right hand long, reach your right hand towards the ceiling, reach those legs long, press through. Inhale. And even that pressing effect down really kind of gives the abs a little bit of guidance on where they should be going when you reach. As you go for 6, 5, good, 4, this is hard work, 3, 2, and 1. Reach your left arm long, press down and reach. Squeeze as you draw in. Gently squeeze that block as you draw in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the block or cushion with your right hand. Take a deep breath in. My right leg is going to reach out long. I'm going to twist. You can also do the exact same thing with your right foot down or with your right leg lifted and reaching. Let's go for 8, 7, oh my oblique, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stay here and lower and lift. Don't go too low with that leg. Look over your left knee as you go for 5. You can point and press. 4, 3, good, 2, and on 1. Release that right foot down, left foot down. And you're like, are we done? We're not. Take the left hand, block, curl gently up. Take your left leg into tabletop or right. Remember, as I said, you can have that left foot down as well. That's totally fine. And reach. Inhale, exhale, reach for 8, 7. I don't know about you, but my core feels on, and not just the area below the ribs, the whole core. For 5, 4, 3, I'm breathing all the time. That exhalation is helping me when I'm making the effort. 3, 2, and on 1. Stay here. Lower and lift. You can press and point. Press and point for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. Take your block to the side. I remember I was teaching a class in Iconic before, I think it was around November, and we did this movement. It's so challenging. Sometimes you have to feel and visualize a movement and imagine like you're somewhere else when you're doing it to really get into your core muscles. So what I mean by that is we're going to bring your feet into the ground, drive your knees into flexion so they're bent, your tailbone is grounded. Lengthen your arms up towards the ceiling, bring your chin to your chest and curl up. Good. Now imagine I said to you, reach towards the ceiling, and you would just reach and reach. But instead of I told you, take your right hand and grab something and pull it down towards you. And then grab something with your left hand and pull it towards you. Notice what would happen. Good. So I want you to bring your chin to your chest and I want you to pull. If you need to have something behind your head and you're just pulsing, do that. Otherwise, draw up. Draw up for 8. Pull, like you're pulling a rope, dragging it towards you, and you're really climbing. And that push-pull action is really going to fire up the core. For 5, 4, 3, and then go all the way over to the right-hand side and pull, pull, pull for 6, 5. Like you're bringing it under your left shoulder. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're not done. Go to the left-hand side. Feel that right rib is grabbing good and pulling that rope for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have you still got some energy? Bring the left leg into tabletop right. Separate the knees and pull and pull and pull for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I know you're cursing at me now. 3, 2, 1 and release. Gorgeous. Okay, really important. Remember, the core muscles, the muscles that support and surround the spine. So let's take our hands super wide. Take your knees together, feet together, drop both knees over to the left-hand side. Take your right hand onto your left hip and almost send that left hip on top of the right a little bit more. That might be enough of a stretch for you today. If you want a little bit more, maybe you could take the right heel and place it to the outside of the left knee. Feel those tensor fasciae lata, feel the IT band, all those lovely muscles that surround the hip stretching. Maybe your gaze could look over your left shoulder. Could you close your eyes? And breathe into those spaces that need it the most. Breathing into your lungs, the hips, and exhale. Two more breaths. And 1, come back to center. Let both knees go to the left-hand side. Yes, my hand here on the right is reaching into the floor. My left foot is going to go over the outside of my right knee. My left hand is on my right hip. And I'm finding a little twist in my spine. Spaces that are tight or stuck can be really released by using the breath and deepening your connection to this posture. 4 more breaths. 3, 2, and on 1. Well done. Okay, again, block, cushion optional. I want you to think about how the glutes are connected to your core. When my hamstrings are on, it means my back line is really kind of strengthening a lot more, which means that my core and my lower back will be stronger too. So think about it. If my glutes are strong, then they will help with my alignment and they will help support my lower back. And then your lower back is also supported by your abs. So they're all really, really big, well connected. Think about it as well. If your hips are tight, your tendency is to bend your hips and flex forward, which can cause backache. So this exercise helps you to open your hips, engage your glutes, and work your core as well. So bring your block or your cushion, whatever you have, in between your knees. Let your head, neck, and shoulders release. Spread your fingertips out nice and wide. Drive your heels down into the floor. Take a deep breath in. Inhale. Exhale and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Send your knees forward. Drive the heels into the ground. Can you bring your hands onto your glutes and make sure your glutes are on by just drawing the sit bones closer together, drawing the inner thighs closer together, yes, and then your hamstrings are right here below your bum cheeks, and those hamstrings are drawing in towards one another. Very good. Now send those knees forward, and as I always say, magnetize your heels towards your shoulders and open your jaw. Good. So have a little open, close it, look up at the ceiling. Take a deep breath in, inhale. Engage the glutes, and could you gently squeeze that block? My legs are shaking already. Good. Squeeze that block with the inner seams of your thighs. with the pubic area, the pubic bone, that space behind that area. Good. Can you exhale every time you squeeze for 10? Don't let those hips drop, lads. 9, 8, 7. Imagine there was barbed wire there, okay? You couldn't let your bum go down or you get absolutely slashed. Good. As you go for 6, 5, or there was a flame underneath your glutes. Yeah. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay here and hold. Breathe in deeply. Inhale. Exhale, release down slowly from the shoulders. See curve down gently as if you're releasing down in a curve to your mid-spine. And then your lower spine, tailbone, tight areas around the back releases. Inhale, exhale, lift. Open your throat, exhale, release down. Good. Could you take a breath in? Could you lift? If you're tight in your lower back, really nice thing to do is lift your left hip a little bit higher than your right. Good. And then only release down through your right hand side. So your right hand side of your shoulder. The right hand side of the mid-spine. The right hand side of the lower spine. You come back to center, you lift up high. Lift your right hip higher than your left and only come down to the left hand side of your shoulders. The left hand side of your mid-spine, thoracic. And left hand side of your lower spine. Lift up super high. Left hip higher than your right. Release down. Take your time with your breath as you release down. Release down. Release down. Exhale, lift. And release down to the left hand side. All the way down. One more time on each side. Lift. Lift the left hip. Right side releases. Mid-spine. Lumbar. Lift up high. Left side only. Down. Down, 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 down. And then come up to the top and lift. Stay here and breathe and squeeze. And squeeze those knees. Squeeze for 10, 9, 8, 7. My pelvic floor is definitely on. My inner thighs are definitely on. 3, 2, 1. Let the arms come up towards the ceiling. Drop the hips. Power through and lift and squeeze for 10, 9, 8. Use the tension of your arms to get you there. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, good, 2, and 1. Stay here and hold. Hold, lift and lower those heels for 10. Feel them fighting gravity as they lower down for 7, 6, good, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Could you keep the heels lifted? Could you reach the arms back? Could you drop the hips down? Power through lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. You probably found muscles that you didn't know you had there. Those muscles around the inner thighs, around the groin, around the core. Well done. Roll yourself onto your side. Bring yourself onto all fours. Okay, from here, you can use your core in so many different ways. On your back, on all fours, and then in ways like rolls downs into planks. So from here, let's get in the habit of having a bit of stability in our cores. Place your hands in upper body weight bearing. Place your hands on the mat. Spread your fingertips out nice and wide. Now, from here, have your knees hip distance apart. Draw your belly button towards the spine. Draw your chin to your chest. And just round your back. Spread the shoulder blades apart. Head, chin tucks under. And then lengthen the tailbone away from the crown of the head. Good. Rounding. Tailbone tucks, around the spine, those tight areas, and then lengthen the tailbone. My core is still engaged. Good, chest open, throat opens for 4. Inhalation in Pilates always as you round is the opposite of the yoga breath, and the exhalation. I often close my eyes when I do this and try and get into those spaces that need it the most, especially my lower back tailbone area. If your chest is tight, breathe into your chest. And exhale. 2 more. And 1 more. Take your left hand into the mat, press it strongly. Good, open your right hand out and thread your needle. Right shoulder to the floor, open. And thread your needle for 4. Create some space. 3, 2, And on one, open, thread your needle, let your right shoulder blade come to the floor, ear to the ground, breathe. Let your spine, all the muscles surround your spine, have a lovely deep twist for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your right hand onto the mat. Can you, with tension, open your left hand up, thread your needle, and open, and thread your needle for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thread that needle. Good. Reach that hand away from you. Bend that right elbow. Almost pull it back in towards you for 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Now, I often use my block for this. If you don't have a block in the house, or you maybe use a book, or usually a book is a really good alternative. Bring your hands onto the mat. I'm going to pray I don't drop my block now. Bring your hands into the floor. Extend your tailbone away from the crown of the head. Now, take the block, the book, or the cushion onto your tailbone. Now, it's there. Mine's hanging on for dear life, and that's a good thing. When I start rounding my back, my block starts moving, or when I start dipping out of my core. So if I'm doing this, it's not good. I need to have a neutral spine. So engage your core. Do all the cueing we did when we were lying flat on our backs. So we're doing the exact same position, but just the other way around. Take your left leg behind you. Remember, it's not the end of the world if you drop your block. Roll your thigh bone in on the left-hand side. Roll your thigh bone in. Lift that left leg off the mat. Draw the elbows in. Strong shoulders. Walk your right hand forward. Pull the shoulders forward a little bit more. Lengthen that right arm away from you. Stay here and hold. And breathe. Good. Can you roll that thigh bone in a little bit more, as if your baby toe is almost lifting inwards a little bit more and the big toe is higher. For 2. And in 1, reach the right hand down. Block still there? I hope so. From here, take your right leg away. Lengthen. Good. Reach your left hand forward. Left hand by your ear. Good. Stay here and hold. Keep on reaching. Breathe for 4, 3, 2, 1. Could you bend your left elbow? Keep your block where it is. Engage your core and reach. So much easier than what it looks. Let's go for 8, 7, round. 6. You can always go on the elbow if it's too hard on the right hand side. 5, 4. Breathe. 3. Block still there. 2. And on 1, take the right foot down. Left foot lengthens, right arm reaches, draw in and out for 8, 7, 6, 5. Oh, my block is going good. 3, 2, and 1. Release. Take a moment. Breathe. Take your right leg long. A lot of you might have not done this exercise before. It's one of my favourites. Press our right hand into the mat. Lengthen your left hand away. Left arm up. Lift your left foot off the mat. And breathe. For 4, easier said than done. 3, 2, 1, release. Good. Left, my core is firing up now to keep that block in place and to keep that right foot lifted. If your right foot doesn't come off the mat today, that's fine. Just keep it down. For 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Take your block away. Bring your knees onto the mat. Could you tuck your toes under? Could you draw your elbows in? Could you lift those knees off the mat? Could you lengthen your spine? Could you stay here and breathe and hold? Could you lift your left foot and then lift your right and then lift your left? Good. And right. Let's go for 6. This is hard work, lads. 5. Keep the spines long. Good. 4, 3, 2, and on 1. Stay here and hold. Left foot lifts and right. Left foot. And right, let's go for 6. Let's go for 5. Let's go for 4. Let's go for 3. Let's go for 2. Let's go for 1 and release into child's pose. Child's pose, a shell stretch, it's so much more than what you think. Press your arms long, palms facing up for the shoulder stretch today. Let your forehead touch the floor. Breathe into the back of your ribs. Expand them and exhale deeply. Breathe into the mid-spine, the lower ribs in the back, and exhale deeply. Now breathe into your lower back as if you had a set of ribs on your lower back, and breathe into those imaginary ribs in your lower back. Breathe into those ribs again. One more time. Good. And then slowly bring yourself up. Again, if you don't have a block, it's not the end of the world. You can do the same exercise without having a block. Let's bring everything we did today, the core stability, the core, the spinal articulation and the core activation all together into a flow. Bring yourself to the top of your mat. Take your block if you have it or your cushion and place it between your knees. Be so delighted to get rid of this cushion by the end of class. Good. And then from here, see how I can stand on my tippy toes and balance a lot better because my inner thighs are fired up and my pelvic floor is fired up. Draw your elbows down into the floor. Open your chest. Gaze forward. Take a deep breath in. Squeeze that block. Good. And bring your chin to your chest. And the wobbles will come and that's totally normal. Let's fire up our cores by rolling down. Bending the knees. Right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. From here, take your left elbow onto the mat, take your right elbow onto the mat, place your hands down on the floor and shift the weight of the body forward and back from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Engage and squeeze that block every time you draw upwards. Good, and down. Exhale, squeeze and come down. Let's go for 8. Lift those thighs, shoulders broad. 9. Pull the elbows into the ground as they're coming towards your heels. 6. 5, gazing down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your left hand onto the mat and your right. Strong plank. Soften the knees a little. Pike your hips up towards the ceiling. Shift the weight of your body back. Walk your hands in. Can you stay on your tippy toes? Can that firing up of your core allow you to come to standing? Lift. Good. Stay here and hold. Breathe. Gaze forward. Notice already, I feel so much taller already. I hope you do too. Good. Bring your chin to your chest. Soften your knees. Roll down. Roll down. Right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. Take your left elbow onto the mat. Take your right foot in front of your left. Take the right hand up. Good. Take the right elbow down. Go to the other side, lift, and come back. Take the right hand up. Maybe you could reach that right hand over, get a nice side stretch. Bring that hand down. Maybe you could lift up, get a side stretch and come back. Maybe you could come to the other side. Good. Maybe you could drop and lift. Maybe you could drop and lift for 2 and 1. Could you bring that right elbow down? Could you lift and could you drop and lift for 2 and 1. Bring that right elbow down. Then lift onto the palms. Walk your hips back. Good. My inner thighs know they have to work to get me to stand. Good. Last time, I promise. Draw the shoulders down. Elbows really finding your length as they reach towards the floor. Gaze forward. Take a deep breath in. Inhale. And then whenever you're ready, roll down. Roll down, roll down. Come forward, forward, forward. And whenever you're ready, lads, left elbow down, right elbow down. Squeezing that block as you come up for 8. Very slowly, hand glides under the elbow and back. Switching arms every time. Good. Maybe start with the right hand the next time and then the left. For 4, for 3, for 2, and on 1. Hold your plank and breathe. For 5, for 4, squeeze that block. 3, 2, 1, bring your hips up. Send those hips back. Walk your hands in. Stay in your tall position, heels down or heels lifted. Maybe the arms want to reach up and down. Maybe one more time. And then bring the hands down by your side, gazing forward. Up to you completely. If you want to see and test your stability with the eyes closed, do. See how your core will fire up. And breathe. For 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. You'll be glad to know all the hard work is done. I'm going to bring you down into a seated twisted stretch. Just so that your body feels so spaced out and open after that strong class. Your abs are going to feel that tomorrow, just a warning. You don't have to sit cross-legged if you don't want to, that's totally fine. Sit up lovely and tall. Good. From here, roll your shoulder blades down your spine. Slide your front ribs into your back ribs. Can you take your left hand to the outside of your right knee? Can you take your right hand up and can you take your right hand over? Can you relax the right shoulder blade as you find length through the crown of the head? Could you let your left rib twist over to the right hand side? Can you take a deep breath in to inhale? Can you now engage your core the way you would if you're on the floor? Draw the belly button towards the spine and twist. Inhale, find length. Exhale to twist. Feel like you're twisting from the organs behind your ribs. The gaze will follow over the shoulder. 2 more. 1 more. Very slowly come back to center. Good. Notice the difference between sides. And then take your right hand to the outside of your left knee. Take your left hand around. Good. Almost at the space in line with the lower back. Bend your right elbow a little if you want to, and then find length. And exhale, twist. Find length. And exhale, twist. For 4. For 3. 2. Slowly come back on 1. From here, take your left hand onto your heart and the right hand onto your stomach. Close your eyes. Find length. And notice the difference between how you feel now after doing the class and how you felt before. Do you feel like your core is engaged? Do you feel like your inner thighs work today? That all the muscles around your spine are engaging and making yourself really, really work harder to find that connection. I hope you feel longer. I hope you feel stronger, more connected. And from here, I want you to breathe into your lungs and your core. Pause, exhale deeply. Breathe into your lungs all the way down to the pelvic floor. And exhale. 8 more breaths with a 4-second inhalation, a pause, and a 4-second exhalation followed by a pause. And release. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 more times. Counting each breath. Connecting with each breath. Feeling the shoulders melt away from the ears. The jaw softening. The body grounded. The core connected. Last breath. Now one, bring your arms and hands together. Humble your brain towards your heart. For 1 moment, just give thanks for yourself for showing up today, for firing up your core, for working all those muscles, for lengthening and strengthening your body, and just more importantly, showing up for yourself. From me to you, thank you for showing up today. I hope you enjoyed this practice, and I hope you do this practice again. Namaste, everybody. Good job. I hope you enjoyed that practice. Remember, give it a go for a few times, and notice over the next couple of weeks, your core getting stronger and all the muscles around your core benefiting as well. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. Thanks.